Hey guys, it's Gus, and I haven't talked about the auction house in quite some time, and I was just writing down some notes, so if you'd like to see what I'm seeing in the auction house, feel free to stay. This will be a really long, boring video, but some people like this, so I'm gonna do it. So, we're in the middle of a mod, and usually in the middle of a module, player count seems to go down, which means, auction house prices become more flat or stagnant. And it seems like overall the trend is on most stuff is going down. There's very little actually going up in value right now. But I'm going to show you what I'm seeing and I'm going to go through each category. In equipment, I don't really even check equipment anymore. There has been so little equipment introduced in this game that's unbound in quite some time. The only thing that might, well, it does, you still see a lot of players using the Scintillate set, and this is a mastercraft for a lot of the spellcasters. So the Scintillate set is still selling. Their prices are going down, and as you can see, there's a lot of them that have been here for quite some time. So there's the sash, and then there's the amulet, and the plus one goes up significantly from 1 million to 2.2 million, right? And then there is the shroomwood. It's a pretty cheap set. It's good for melee users or strength-based characters. The thing is it's so easy to get the well. This is probably for some classes still really good. I'm using the free set, the one that you get from doing Moon Dancer, the detector set. But other than that, in equipment, I'm not really looking at very much. Every once in a while, I'll look up the elemental weapon. Elemental Um, there's an, this is a very rare item. Yeah, this one's 20 million. Sometimes you'll see it for lower. So I do keep my eye out on those. Those weapons have some very unique properties that make them sought after. The problem is you have to open old packs and get other packs out of those old packs with keys, and then get RNG to get one of these low drop rates. So it's very difficult to get these. The only other thing you might want to that I do check equipment for is like fashion. Every once in a while I'll look to see what the Dragon Bone set is going for and see if anybody's selling any Dragon Bones pretty low. But some of them are really really high, like the TR weapons and the HR bow. Yeah, these things I don't know why they're so spendy, but people like the look of this bow. Um, I think it's too flashy. I like my bow a little bit better. The wooden weapons. Um, but in the next category, enhancements. This is where I spend a lot of my time when I'm searching. There's so much going on in this category in the auction house. I would say almost half my time is spent in this. I say spent time. I mean just browsing and looking for steals. I have been buying a shitload. So when I get done doing through my auction house stuff, I'll show you. You can stick around. I'll show you everything I've been buying for the last few weeks because there's been a lot of good deals this last couple weeks. So the first thing in here is wards. Cold modes are around 550. They haven't changed in quite some time. These have been very flat. As you can see, these have been up here for days. 555. The prices are not moving on these. We just recently had, the 30% sale and the three-time Colmote packs, and there hasn't really been anything added to the game where people are needing Colmotes, so they're not really moving. I do buy these blue ones whenever I see them cheap because I'm using these. Oh, nice. I'll take these. They're constantly over, like, I'll take them all. I'm going through a lot of these because I'm selling a lot. And what I'm selling is going to be a separate video. I just want to have everything stacked up, so I like to go big, so I'll wait. But this is the interesting part. This is something preservation wards, right? You're gonna see I bought a lot of these when we get to it. They're down to almost 420 a stack. And if if history repeats itself, these are gonna keep going up and up and up. If you follow this channel, just a couple months ago, I was selling these for like 760 a stack. Because the thing with Pres wards is if you get a coupon, you can get a Colmote or you can get 10 Pres Wards, right? So it's they never have 3-time preservation ward packs on sale. These are much more expensive to get from the Zen market, even though their base price is the same. You don't get the deals on these. And these are used probably more commonly than Colmotes are. So preservation wards do get used a lot. It's always a gamble. You never know what's going to happen in this game tomorrow. But historically, the Winterfest, the markets get flooded with Pres wards. They're super cheap. I buy them super cheap and I make AD selling them later. Um, the other interesting moat that I've never understood is, wait, wards. I've never understood why these sell for so much. These were 180k each, 175k each, not too long ago, and look at they're already at 300k almost because everybody was getting 2 unbound ones for free from the campaign, but you can only do it on one character on your account, so it wasn't an unlimited supply. So these are drying up, but 300k on a Como is 550. I don't understand enhanced legendary modes, but people use them, but they are going up, significantly going up. And the other thing of note in here is the refiner caches, and I'm still looking to see if I can ever find cheap ones in here. Look at 90, 85k, 95k, 100k. These went up. So I've been buying, anytime I see them for 50k, 60k, I buy them because it comes with the legendary. The inside, the content is 90k, assuming it's not during a 2-time event. And during a 2-time event, we don't know for sure, but we're hoping that these drop double double enchanting stones, which will make these, have a lot. Getting this 2 rank 6 enchantings or legendary enchanting stones for 50k is, in the current conditions, is really cheap. I know you can farm it, but not with how many I'm using. You can't farm it. It just you would never play the game. Um, So you're gonna see when I'm doing the opening mark of potencies. These have been phased out of the game, but players are still listing these all the time. You're gonna see in when I open, I find them. This one's 89k. Don't buy it because the exchange value on it is only 75k. These epic ones are funny how much they list them for. The exchange value on them is only 15k. And I actually find the epic ones much less often than I find the higher ranked ones at a price where you will make a extra AD. Um, Artifacts are a big deal right now too. Most artifacts are almost completely useless, right? But there's a few that I watch out for. The Tiamat Arcane Globe is still a good seller. If you can farm it, look at the cheapest one in the auction house is 700k, and you can farm this if you got a team. It's not a high drop rate, but still, that's a week's worth of AD in one chest. 700k, right? And then upgraded. Shit, maybe I'll buy it and start upgrading them. 2.5 mil. What? And then you got the Jewel de Caldera. This bad boy. I've never seen this drop in a run. But look how much these are going for. Wow, I almost want to get this and just bump it up to Mythic and sell it. But I'm not going to. Because I don't know if these move that fast. That's the problem with them. But the reason why people like them is at Mythic, it's 1800 item level. And there's only a couple artifacts in the game where you can get that much item level. So I look at the Caldera. I also look at the Magma artifact. And I'm selling one of these, yeah, 2.4 mil. So if I see a one listed low, I'll buy it. And the Wrath, I have one of these being sold too. If I see these listed low, I'll buy it. Like if this would have said 1 mil, I would have bought it right now in the video. And then the other one is the pistol, which seems to be a pretty decent seller. And when I find these for 1 million, I buy it instantly. And you're gonna see, I bought a bunch of those. But these are actually selling, which is very unusual considering you can get them in the campaign store. But not everybody wants to farm campaign currency, I guess. The other one is the scepter. I was going to get some of these and upgrade them, but I'm just like, there's other stuff I can upgrade that will make more. So you see, they're dirt cheap. They're 17K, and then when you sell them, they're almost 800K. The problem is you gotta use five. You gotta use nine glyph potencies, five rank six enchanting stones, five rank five enchanting stones, plus all the pres wards, plus the blue colmotes. So you will make some 80 off of it. It's just not. I'd rather make more. But this is the surprising artifact. This artifact has skyrocketed. Like I'm thinking this is gonna be these drop very frequently too. So it's the Spelljammer. Look at 250 is the lowest. 250,000. That is a very common drop, and it's pretty easy to put these groups together. And look, if you upgraded it to Mythic, 1.6 mil. So I'm thinking about farming it, getting them for free, upgrading them, spending about 300K, and then selling it for 1.6 mil. It's definitely a possibility right now. Uh, Let me show you this. The Gond event was so long ago, and I was saying I am not investing in these. It is these Gone doohickeys, man. I just had a feeling these would not go up, and they're still going down and down and down. I guess if you don't have any tool belt item, you could use this, right? But yes, no, I'm not. I'm not using 300K. Still seems like too much to be honest. Oh, one artifact I did not mention. So everybody who did the last battle pass got this for free. It was the resonating music box. Look how much these bad boys are going for. 3.3 mil. And that mythic 4 mil. And if I see them for like 2 million, I buy them because this is, you know, arguably the second best artifact in the game for a DPS right now because it's 1800 I'm level and you get triple offensive stats. This is a really good artifact. Um, I'm not messing with enchantments at all with the buying or selling. Because look how they're just keep going down and down and down and down and down. And what I've noticed is when I do sell them, there's a lot of other people trying to sell them. The mythic does sell very nicely and will probably continue to sell nicely for a long time, but it's nowhere near what we used to make. I used to sell these for 3 million. But if you can get the regular lightning for cheap, let me if you can get the regular lightning for like 150, 200K, let's see if there's any in here. 320, yeah. So your initial cost is still really high with those. If you have cold wards, it works. If you're trying to figure out what to do with these bound cold wards, that's what you do is you get these lightning flashes and you upgrade them to mythic and they sell. Because basically there's really not much most DPS are using other than that right now. Um, refinement is refinement's kind of a dud right now. Uh, I'm not even messing with refinement. Like like black opals and stuff. I'm just not messing with them. I don't see them really skyrocketing unless something groundbreaking comes in the game. So here's an interesting note. When you go to the calendar, we have not had a two-time refinement event in quite some time. And there is none on the auction house, right? So what that means is these epic enchanting stones have been going up. Oh, I gotta learn how to spell epic, right? These epic enchanting stones are going up really nicely. Well, these are just under 200K, but they're selling a lot. But look at 220. That's really good considering I was getting them from like 13,000, 14,000 during the last one. So I don't see a lot of people, these are probably going to continue to go up. It's really nice that if you did take time to farm them, you're going to make some nice profit selling them. And then the last thing is the Devil's Precision. These I'm always looking for cheap ones, but these have been holding steady. They're actually going up slightly. And you'll see that weeks after a lockbox comes out, because when people, new lockbox comes out, generally people open them, a lot of them, and then a lot of Devil's Precisions and Rage of Flames come into the market. And since that's worn off, these prices have been going up. But there's a new lockbox coming out this Sunday, so expect these prices to drop again. And I am not looking for lowered prices. I'm looking for people who are just trying to get rid of them, or they'll sell like four of them instead of one because they open a lot of lockboxes. So that's what I'm looking for. I think that's all I got for enchantments. Consumables are. So I said this back in July with these squash soups. You know, I said my prediction, and I don't even want to say prediction, but my guess was that these squash soup, the days of 240,000, 300,000 AD per stack of squash soup are long gone, and they're still under 100K. And the thing is, the players that have, hundreds of stacks of these from the summer festival just aren't selling. They're just hoping that these go up and they can start making more. But the problem is all those people that are sitting on them, they know the Summerfest is only we're halfway there. So at some point they're gonna have to start selling, and when they start selling, everybody else is gonna start selling. So these could actually go down. It just depends whatever the new content comes out next and how many players are doing it and how difficult it is and how much people are running it. If it's like the last couple dungeons where a lot of players only do a couple times and never step foot in there again, they're not eating up all these squash soups. They're not being removed from the economy. you know MGR people are going through stacks a day each, attempt. Every time you die you pop one, and these dungeons just haven't been as challenging as they previously have, nor have they had the replayability. So my guess is that's affecting the amount of squash soup that's being used up. So these prices are still really low. They might go up a little bit, but 240K, 300K, probably not so much. And all the consumables are still really flat. Uh, but right now, because of the Scroll of Fates that only come out once a year, well, let me just do Fates. All these consumables are really cheap. This is the cheapest you'll usually see them. Forget the glory and the gold ones, okay? And the riches. But these ones that give stats or ratings are good. Right now, compared to last mod, these are more important because generally speaking, before they added gave us 90% more ratings, people didn't have room for all of these, but now they do. And like the power one, the crit severity one, the accuracy one. What's that? Crit avoidance. Let's keep going. The recovery is the accuracy. This is 750 AD each. If hard content comes out, you're going to be using as many consumables as you can. So you won't. These are pretty low. I just have so many, and I always never remember to sell them. So I just have so many. I haven't been buying any. But the one important scroll in here, undoubtedly, it does every single year that will go up, is the Scroll of Fate movement. This is one of the best consumables in the game. You get 15% movement speed when you use this bad boy. So you get through stuff so much quicker because of it. Um, Sometimes it's wasted. If you're faster than your tank and you're getting to those mobs, you'll probably die in master content. And then when you die, you lose this buff. I know I really enjoy using it. I use a lot in like random queues and stuff because I can't stand doing them because I've been doing them for so long that when I am doing them, I want to get through them as quickly as possible. Um, and all the scaled content, you can pretty much as a DPS face all of it, without dying. Mm, okay, let me go back to my list. Everything's flat. The elixirs are flat. They're still all around, 1,000 each, 1,200 each. Elix. Did I misspell it? I probably did. So when we go to like Wildstorm, Sun Lords, they're all 1,200 each. And this has been. They actually did get below 1,000, but 1,200 is still pretty low. no movement on these consumables. Now these oral fa or sorry, oral or, or I don't even know how it's pronounced. Oral favors. These are 77,000 each. These might go up. I don't know if they'll go up. I don't know why they would go up. It's the Rabbit Kit and the Riotous Wrath were new additions uh, at Mythic quality, and they're still the lowest companions in the game. The Cold Light Walker, I don't have a positive opinion about it. I'm not dogging anybody who does use it, but I don't see any value in it right now. Maybe later on if we need it in the utility spot, but yeah, just not a fan of this. Maybe these will go up. They probably will go up because I one thing I learned in this game over a decade is people do like to gamble, but I don't see it. The Astro lock boxes, I've been trying to offload these because these were 80K each almost like 3 days ago, and then they dropped the bomb on us. You know, they're bringing it right back 4 weeks after it ended. So it's, unless that's a mistake. So the Astro Lockbox is coming out a month after it was gone. I don't know if it will be changed or not. Probably not because it's still within the same module. But that's very unusual to bring the Astro Lockbox event back a month after the last one ended. And no two-time refinement event in between is very unusual. But it is what it is. Um, One consumable that finally went up is the Ancient Dragon Slaying Potions. These are really good. I use this every single run. And oh, look at 14K each. That's well. When I looked yesterday, you see these were listed. I made these note lists yesterday. They were higher. They were 15K each, 18K each. But when these are gone, they're gone. And these stack with every other consumable. So when you're in the last boss of Dread Sanctum or Lair of the Mad Dragon, these are very helpful, especially if you're in a group that's struggling to get past it. A 10% damage gain is huge, especially if all three DPS are using them. I know people say 12K. I'm like, to me, I'm like, that's how much I pay for a reroll. I'm spending so much in these dungeons anyways. I'd rather spend one of these and save a bunch of scrolls. I look at these as a win. I know everybody else doesn't, but when these are gone, they're gone, guys. They are going up. When stacks, I got stacks of these for 199,200K, and I'm so glad I did. And I'm not using them for reselling. I'm using them because I play a lot of content, so I use these. Mounts are in an unusual spot right now. Very unusual spot. And what makes this unusual is that, a lot of us think it's very possible that next module, the mounts are going to be increased to Celestial. We don't know this, but we do know the companions were upgraded to Celestial. We do know they added a Celestial category to mounts. So it seems like it's coming. It may not be this module, but it will happen. It's inevitable, is what it seems like. So what that means is everybody who wants to be top tier is going to be upgrading all their insignias, and they're going to need insignia powders. And if everybody knows, insignia powder is one of the bottlenecks in this game. It's very difficult to get. It's very time consuming. But what I'm saying is interesting is the prices of insignias have been going down. Look at under 700K. Look at for offensive one. 700K for offensive. That's really good. The next time we see an offensive is 720. And if you saw that video, I was selling all these for a million plus. And that was just like 2 months ago. So their prices have been going down fast. Uh, I don't know if they'll continue to go down. I suspect not. But this is just very unusual. Collars are also flat. Uh, Commonly, I'll see a legendary in here for like a million, and I'll see a mythic for 3 million. And this is a really good one. This is well recharge speed. If I thought that was the encounter one, my bad. But I don't. I don't. I'm not. I have not bought collars to upgrade to try to sell for a profit because it requires so many resources. And every time I list one of these damn collars, somebody undercuts me. I'm like, do I really want to compete over selling these? Because I don't think there's not as many buyers for these as there is like enchantments and stuff. So I don't play around with these collars. If anybody's making AD on these, good for you. You don't have to worry about me coming in. So the mounts, it's really hard for me to look at mounts because to me, most mounts in this game are purely cosmetic. They have no value to me whatsoever. Like the Fox mount, people are paying. Look how much people are paying for this mount, 1.8 million. And this to me is utter garbage. It's pure filth. But people like to ride around their mounts. But I don't ride around in my mounts because you can't use mounts in dungeons. So if you can, I just don't. I don't understand most mounts. They're just skins to me, and I could care less about that. I have a lot more to worry about in the game. But most mounts are pretty trashy. But some mounts you want to look for are the Ebon Riding Lizard. The reason why is it's best in slot for 5-man and 10-man dungeons because it has is that Pack Tactics or Mystic Aura? I think that's Mystic Aura. Maybe that's Pack Tactics. I can't tell. They don't have the name there. But that Ebon Riding Lizard is best slot in every single group in the game. And then the other one is Myconid. It's also best slot for every group in this game. And so these prices, look at 230. And what's great is these were only came out during the summer festival. So before then, if you wanted to have I think this is Mystic Aura. If you wanted Mystic Aura, you had to get the Mythic mount for 2.4 mil. Now you can get it for 230k. 2 days of rough AD, and you can have a best in slot mount. I do keep an eye on all the mounts that are always useful. I think Big B's hand, it's done. I have not used it in months. I know people are still using it because they're not bothering. But Bigsby's hand, look how expensive this is. I'm just gonna sell any I got left because I've gone to the Hellfire engine, and unless I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me I'm wrong. But I'm using this bad boy. It's giving me an extra I think 250 magnitude, which is, I know people say that's not a big deal, but to me that's a big deal because I'm always trying to do crazy stuff. So I keep track on the mounts that are useful. Any debuff mount in the game. I don't understand how this. I'll show you. I bought a few of these. You'll see. Look, 700k, 900k. Whereas like this brain stealer, this is better than Rex because Rex is also 15% debuff, but this one does 800 magnitude. These are great, and a lot of people probably don't know this and probably think I'm crazy, but for 10-man content, in the future, I believe nobody will be using magnitude mounts. Everybody will be using debuff mounts. And so if that does turn out to be true, all these debuff mounts are going to skyrocket because when you get invited to a group and you only have one debuff mount, chances are they might look for somebody else. They'll want people with multiple mounts for ease of hosting. And this brain stealer is so cheap. Such a good one. It's at 15%. Everything else in here is to me is just a skin. It's all garbage. All these mounts are all garbage. All these mounts are garbage. All these mounts are garbage. Not the brain stealer. There could be a case for the balloons. It does a little bit of magnitude, but only it's half the debuff as the brain stealer. This is all garbage except the Rex. But they're all skins. It's all garbage except the Rex. Uh, you don't need the Ebon Riding Lizard because the legendary ones are 1/10 of the price. But all the rest of the mounts are all garbage. The Zodar, garbage. Look at it. Only buffs you. Who uses personal buffs in endgame, I was really excited about this Deadly Drider. Not so much. We had some ideas with it. But these are all skins. I know the Noble Pegasus is actually really good. It's actually better than a debuff in some scenarios because this gives everybody a straight up damage buff, which if your buffs are less than your debuffs, then you'll benefit more from buffs. So this is a really good one, and it's magnitude, and it hits multiple enemies. Oh, and I forgot to mention that about this brain stealer. Most debuffs only hit one target. But this one hits any target in it gets a debuff. So I like it because if you're using a debuff and let's say Moon Dancer and all those mobs run in the way, you might miss the boss, right? Or if you're in the second boss in MDS and all those mobs get in the way and your debuff misses, well, it's not going to mess with this because it will hit everything in front of you. So I like that one. I really like this one. Uh, Zodar, trash. I'm trying to find more debuff mounts. One sec. The Demon Wings, these are pretty. I played around with it. The use I thought would be pretty good because it does have a pretty unusual effect, but it makes you dash forward, and everything that you touch when you dash forward, it hits them for 1,000 magnitude. Kind of unusual. Uh, Garbage. This is all. They're all skins, but I guess for the insignia bonuses. But I wouldn't recommend. Look at there. People are like this space guppy is good on AOE. Oh my god, spending 2 million on AOE. So this Bestial Fire Arcane, I bought one because Urk had messaged me when I was in a dungeon, said where'd they all go, and there was none in the auction house. So when I saw one, I was like, I don't have any extra. Let me buy it. I meant to email you back or message you back, Urk, but you had logged off by the time I did. Uh, this is really good. But if you see this one, uh, le- it does an AO. It can hit. It can debuff multiple enemies as well. Big B's hand. I don't even use it anymore. I know players do. Most all this is trash. It's all skins. This giant hamster is. It's just to me. It's a skin. What's it do? A shield. And I don't know anywhere this giant AOE stun. Useless compared to the alternative. Obviously, they have some use, but compared to the alternatives, Hash Cauldron, the most powerful mount in the game. The problem is you have to build around it, and nobody wants to go through that problem. But all I'm getting at is most of the mounts they're just an AD trap. I'm not a big fan of them. Um, One other thing in the mounts. So there was a Zen market where you can get the mythic and double companion choice pack, but they weren't in companions. They were listed in mounts. So you go to mounts and type in double, and here's the legendary companion double choice pack that has, the Regis, Batiri. These are in mounts, not companions. And there was also, I think there was a mythic one too. Let me just type in companion. Forget the name of it. What's crazy is the mythic companion's cheaper than the double legendary. Yeah, 2.22 million for this, and it has it's actually not bad. It has the flapjack in there. Everything else in there is pretty trashy. I know the blasphemous assassin sells for a lot, but I don't know why. Uh, this thing costs so many tickets. Look at 2.9 million for the blasphemous assassin here, or if you go to the mounts and look it up, it's 2.2 million. So you could get the pack for 2.2 million, pull the blasphemy mount, and sell it for 2.9. The problem is I don't know how long or if these are even selling. Uh, I have a bunch of companions that I have been eyeballing. What I don't, what I don't know why is why people are paying so much for these comp tokens. 80K, and these were 110K just 2 weeks ago. These have no business being 80K because the base pack has 75, and it's a third of this price. If you buy 70s, you're or half the price. If you buy 7.5 of these packs, you're paying 600,000 when you could just buy the base pack for 325, 350. This one's super cheap. If you need it, get it. It won't be there by the time you watch this, probably though. But the companions, they put 3 mythic companions in this event that were not available in the auction house before. They were the rabbit kit, the cold light walker, and the riotous wrath. So 739. I know players. thinking, I can get a lot of bolster out of that on all my tunes. The problem is there's no scenario where I think you would ever use this in your build. So yeah, it would give you bolster, but later on you'd have to replace it. So initially up front you get some cheap bolster or relatively cheap bolster, but it would in the long run you'd probably be wasting AD because right now in the current state you could easily have five of your companions you have slotted for the bonus, and then have five various companions you use playing the game at Celestial, and it's the same ones. Everybody's well, there's people still running master content with green scale bowman, yes, and sometimes it's because they don't have enough AD to upgrade it. I get it. I think there's some that just don't know any better. But these master dungeons are no joke. People are hosting for last boss way too much. It's clearly a sign that people are struggling in there. And when you're not contributing to the group, like you should, it's just holding everybody back. I know it's very possible to complete master content with five green scale bowmans, but it's also very possible for them to spend 4 hours wiping because of the five green scale bowmans. Oh yeah, so there's the rabbit, Ritus Roth, and then look at she was 1.1 mil. Look at she's up to 1.7 mil now. Woo woo. I love this companion, by the way. 10% movement speed for everybody. Uh, and the Cold Light Walker 2.1 mil. I did buy a couple of these, not because I hope to sell them in the future. I bought them because if they did go up in the future and I didn't have any, I would kick myself in the ass. So I could not sit on the sidelines and not do a little bit. I don't know why. This is 2.2 mil. Jarlax has gone down big time. This was a 7, no, it was 9 million AD before the Astral Lock boss came out, because this gives 7.5% accuracy. Now look at 2.2 mil. Woo! Flump, Bobby, oh, they're all garbage. Flapjack I gotta get one. This is the only support companion I don't have one. But if you're smart, you don't pay 2.7 million for it. If you want to be smart about it, if you do need one, the better place to get it is the double or no companion, right? You go here and you buy it for 2.2 million instead of 2.7 million. But God, I need flapjack. Fuck it, I'll get it. I needed a flapjack. I always feel guilty when I don't have it. Um, what other comps in here? But what I was getting at in my note was most mythic companions are just way overpriced. This game has this really weird coloring scheme where if it's mythic and you don't know any better, you would assume it's better than legendary, when that is very often actually not the case, or the opposite. They got to really do something with their color schemes, even on equipment, right? You can have this looks like it's ass because it's epic. This looks like it's not that good because it's only legendary. These colors do not always signify their value in the game. They should really start doing something about that, but it is what it is. Okay, companions. The, there were some companions in the auction house during this winter festival that I gambled on big time. The one is the Grill Master. The reason being is not because this companion's any good, but because it's never been unbound before. It's never been in the auction house. It was only available during the summer event, and it was always bound. So this is the first time we'd ever been able to get this companion unbound. And we don't know if we'll be back ever again. So I gambled. I got a lot for like 60K, 80K. I was like, I probably won't go much lower. It can only go up, and look at it. It's already 300K. Another one is the Fire Blossom Petal. And I've mentioned this in a few. Fire Blossom, is it two words? Yeah, 220K. I've literally sold multiple of these for 2 million AD each. Now, the reason being, there's a big caveat. I'm not saying these will go to 2 million again. It's because it was the first time they came out during Winterfest, and I don't think a lot of people noticed. And over time, there was none in the auction house. So when I listed it for like 2 million, it would sell. I was like, whoa, What a nice gift. So I just got some cheap ones just in case they did go up, not expecting them to go up. I bought a bunch of these rat pups, not because I think they're any good, but just in case they ever do become good. Look at 45K, 50K, shit. Now look at, before this event, these were almost 2 million AD each. So yeah, I think 50K is a really, really safe gamble. The most I could lose is 50K. The most I could gain is millions. I'm okay with that. Um, the Alchemist. This has been an AD maker ever since as long as I've known in this game. So the Alchemist. What? Okay. He just listed. Look, these are somebody else has been buying up because before the event they were only like 300K. But they always go down to like 100K during the Winter Festival, and they always go up throughout the year because this is a really rare drop in game. I've never gotten one, but I do know they do drop. And what makes these so unique is they give crit strike and combat advantage in the utility slot. So a lot of builds rely on this companion because the utility slot does not have a lot of um, offensive ratings that we can put in the utility slot. So that's a very common one to be used. So to me, it was a very safe gamble. I don't expect that one I just bought to sell for 675, but if it sells for 300K, I won't be a bit surprised. This paranoid delusion. If you don't know, before the lockbox, Astro lockbox ended last week, they were below a million AD. I saw some for 980,000. And as soon as the event ended, they immediately skyrocketed to 4 million. That told me somebody bought them all. And then the price has gone down over this last week. Remember the Thursday after the lockbox went out, that morning they were 900,000. 3 hours later they were 4 million. So that just tells me people probably one or two or a small handful of people probably bought them all. And look, if they are even selling at 1.85, they already made almost a million AD. So good on them. Uh, I don't understand why it's this good. It's selling this high. I'm not a big fan of the. It's not end game appropriate in my opinion. And for a lot of other hosters, they would ask you to remove it and put on something that does a lot more than this. But it is a unique companion. It is unobtainable companion, so there is value in it. But I just don't get it. Me as a collector, if I did not have the paranoid delusion, I would need to get this. And I would gladly pay 1.8 million for it. But if you're not a collector, I don't see why it's selling for 1.8. Who knows? Maybe somebody knows something about this companion that I don't know. If you do, please let him comment below. Regis went way, way down, and he's already gone back up. So look at the. So nasty, stink nasty just listed this for 1.7 mil, but these are the prices that this is the price where they were when they were in the Zen market, and this is what the price they've already gone up by almost a million. And I don't know if that's good deal or not because the Cold Light Walker might be a competitor with this. Some people say it is better. I'm to me, I'm personally I don't recommend it, but I'm going with the Regis, not the Cold Light Walker when I run dungeons. It's just because Regis attacks faster, and in dungeons on mobs, you just want to clear stuff as fast as you can. Um, but that's group dependent too. Not all groups clear mobs fast. So, but this has been interesting. Another one is the Mage Slayer. He's another companion that hits pretty good. Uh, I sold one of these. I traded a Mage Slayer for a Divine Vorpal. And the Divine Vorpal right now, the lowest one in the auction house, I think is 80 million. Let me go take a look. Divine Vorpal. Yeah. Uh, the thing is, this Mage Slayer is really good, but it was a common drop or fairly decent drop from the Astro Lockbox, so the value went down. And I think a lot of players, even though this hits hard, most in-game players are not using hitting companions. They're using support companions that help the team. So But if that was the case, why would the paranoid be up? I don't know. So I don't get what's going on with the mage slayer. But it will probably go up over time if I had to guess. If I had to guess, I would gamble it would go up. And then the other companion of note that I wanted to talk about real quick was the Quickling. My goodness, this thing was a million AD companion. Oh, got to go with a common. Look at 27. Should I do it? Even at 100K, the thing is, this is a really, I think a lot of healer builds use this companion because it gives crit strike and outgoing healing. I am not too up to date on most endgame healer builds, so maybe they're not using it. I know in my healer build, I'm not using it because I'm putting on mine all my companions in offensive stuff, not outgoing healing. Um, but my build's quite unlike everybody else's. There's a lot going on in companion, guys. The companions that every DPS at a game is there's four companions basically everybody's using, right? The Neverwinter Knight, 1.6 million, and that's not for an account one. Account one, if you buy this for 166 and don't pay the extra 8,334 AD for this, you're gonna be kicking yourself in the butt. So there's the Neverwinter Knight. There's the Minsk. These all have high values, million, but this is in the battle pass, I believe. So Minsk, Neverwinter Night, and then of course everybody's using the tamed raptor, but you can get that in the market. And then there's the Batiri, and the Batiri went way down because it's in the double companion pack that we talked about a little bit ago. At Mythic, look at a million. This is really good. I know you can get it in the Reaper store, but I think it's 30 days, and there's other stuff you could buy. So if they can get this with 10 days worth of currency, and then get another companion with 30-day Reaper currency, they might do that. But these sell. Uh, but the support companions, That's the one that has a high price tag. So the best in slot that you can't farm have a high value, right? There's then only, the Minsk and Neverwinter Night. But the support ones, look at this, Dritz. Holy jeez, this is skyrocketed. 2.9 million. I had over 20 of these I bought for under a million AD each. I was very happy to see that. Wow. And then you got the Dritz, you got the Tutor. I'm going through the five companions most groups expect you to have. Tutor, look at almost 2 million. So and then we have Flapjack. Flapjack. Oh, is it one? Oh, you know what? We did cover this. Don't pay 2.7 mil for it. Get it from the double companion pack. The Black Dust Scorpion. Uh, I did buy one of these because I didn't have any extra. Is up to 1.2 mil. This is, in my opinion, the best companion in the game. Especially, people are like, well, just get combat advantage. Well, you can, but you're not attacking while you're moving around. And this companion just means you can have more time on target. And especially like the last boss when you're moving constantly and the tank's moving constantly to avoid, the tentacles and the poison pits and the dragon bites and the and what are those demogorgons come after you? Yeah, there's a lot of movement, and it's really hard to position yourself for combat advantage every single hit. So this just helps you do that. So this is but look at 1.2 mil. This would be higher, except two reasons. It was in the most recent Astrolog box, and it's also now in the trade bar store. Uh, I don't understand the price of Zuna. In my opinion, she's completely obsolete now. But she's just really hard to get. So this price is probably gonna stay high because usually it was a Zen RNG Zen drop. So what other? And Spine Devil. Don't really use the Spine Devil too much. Uh, but it is a good support companion. I actually really like this one. In 10 man you'll see it a lot, but in 5 man not so much because the Portobello is another one that you would probably use. So Dritz, Tutor, Flapjack, Spine Devil, Black the Scorpion, and Portobello. Those are the main 6 support companions you see in 5-man content. You hopefully will see in a 5-man content. So I got for companions, I'm really never looking in the stronghold stuff because I have bought lots of vouchers in the past trying to resell later, and you do make AD off of vouchers. Like if you can buy a cheap Fey voucher, you know, I'm I got mine under 20 during the stronghold events. These typically go up because this is a really pain in the ass one for growing guilds to farm, and then the other one obviously is influence, which is probably when I look, it's probably gonna be about 40K. It's been their price for years. Whoa, what's that? Okay, 15K each. So there's some cheaper ones here. I said 45K, but 25K is the lowest, 28K. But I usually don't look in here because you have to buy so many of them to start making a noticeable profit, and you have to sit on it. Miscellaneous, I don't really have. I only have a couple notes. Um, the Dragon Bone Blades is really the only artifact in here. Dragon, don't. Is it one word? Well, let's just go here. The Dragon Bone Blades is really the only mythic artifact I'd recommend people getting, and it's 3.3 mil. It's really expensive, but it's a 12% debuff and 12% damage mitigation. It's a really good artifact, and it's good on it's account wide. If you're gonna buy one, but typically in a 5-man group, you want a demo, you want a Mythalar, you want a scepter, and then typically you would have like did I just skip one? Demo, Mythalar, scepter, blades, and then the fourth one or the fifth one you maybe put something on crystal. Crystal's okay, but this Dragon Ball Blades is still a really decent artifact. So if you buy, there's other mythic like this Grace of. This is usually one of the artifacts I see in every single group I join that's in a failed run. This artifact is unbelievable. I'm not gonna say it is a debuff or a buff, but there's so many that are so much better than this. And I believe this one. I gotta look. I think it has this. You got to be next to the person casting it, and if you leave it, you lose the buff. I gotta double check that. If that's true, that makes it even more useless on the last boss when nobody groups up. It's almost impossible to group up on that last boss. So this is such a common artifact I see in failed groups. And people say it's only one artifact. Well, usually a sign of bigger problems. This is just a harbor, right? It's a harbinger of bad news when I see this artifact. Um, Marcos is pretty good. Heart of the Volcano. This is usually a harbinger of bad news as well because there's obviously an artifact that's 50% better than this. Crystal's pretty good. It's funny because I say this observation. I take screenshots of it all the time. What I've noticed, because I run a lot of advanced content as well, because they have 2 separate collections, one for master and one for advanced, and I got a lot luckier with the master collections I did the advanced, so I'm still doing a ton of advanced. Is my observation is typically the player with the lowest damage output is the one wearing this, and that is the opposite of what it should be. And exactly what I said about this artifact when I did an artifact rant video like a year ago or whatever is exactly what's still going on. I wish this artifact was never introduced into the game because it's used so improperly. It's I when you have a group that's barely failing, that damage the top damage dealer would have got from using this far exceeds the damage that the lowest damage dealer would have got using this, which means the group's losing a ton of damage, which means the burn is slower, which means more people are wiping, more people are wasting scrolls. This artifact, it's, I don't wear this unless they tell me to put it on, or if I'm hosting and we get to the last boss and nobody's using it, then I'll put it on because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy with the low damage using it. Mm, this artifact choice pack is you still find some. The Merilith mask, if you're a healer, obviously you're a healer. There's only a couple sets you should be using. There's the Merilith mask, there's the Apocalypse set, and there's the Vistani. The problem with the Vistani is It can really distract from what the other stuff you're supposed to be doing. Meanwhile, the Merilith and APOC are very easy to be activated as a healer. The downside with the Merilith mask is when you're making an optimized team, either 5 or 10 man content, you don't want a Merilith mask on the healer because the DPS would be using that. So you'd want the APOC on the healer because you want the DPS to have the more item levels so the group has bigger burn. Obviously, that's not going to be in the case for a group that's not optimized, but it's just for optimized groups. Um, the other thing in here, the shards have been going up actually, and they just actually went down. But these were going for almost 15k, but they're down back down to 10k. I know 15k doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have hundreds of them and you're making an extra 5k, yeah, that's pretty good. I think they're going back down because they put the Astro Lockbox in the calendar, but just not too long ago, they were up there. Um, so I promised I was gonna show you what I got, what I've been buying, but the video is at 57 mark, so I gotta shut this off. If you got any observations in the auction house or any questions or comments, please do so below. I think everybody would like to hear them. Stay class, Neverwinter. See you soon.